If you ever walked past Oyingbo Market in the late afternoon, you would smell it before you even saw it. The aroma, thick, rich, irresistible, it wrapped around your nose like invisible hands, pulling you closer, step by step, until you found yourself standing in front of a small, crowded food spot. Mama Ke's Buka. It was not the biggest place in the market, not the fanciest, but it was always full, always. People stood in long lines, sweating, waiting, arguing, all just for one plate of food. Her jollof rice was famous, redder than a sunset, each grain shining with oil and spice. And her soup, people said it tasted like heaven on a plate. One bite, and you would never forget it. But there was something strange. If you stood there long enough and watched the customers carefully, you would notice something was not right. They ate like hungry animals. Fast, desperate, almost possessed. Some came in the morning, returned in the afternoon, and came back again at night, spending every kobo they had, ignoring their homes, neglecting their families. There were stories. Men who stopped giving money to their wives. Women who forgot to cook for their children. Young boys who skipped school just to sit at Mama K's table. They all said the same thing. I don't know why. I just can't stop eating here. At first, people laughed. Her food is just too sweet, they said. But slowly, whispers began to spread. Because sweetness alone does not control a man's mind. Behind the smoky kitchen, Mama K worked tirelessly. She was a large woman, strong, always sweating from the heat of the fire. Her face carried a constant smile. But her eyes were different. Sharp. Watching, calculating. Every Tuesday night, long after the market had gone quiet, when even the rats moved carefully through the darkness, Mama K would leave her buka. She wrapped herself in a dark shawl, covered her head, and walked silently through the empty streets. No one noticed her, or at least, no one was supposed to. She always walked the same path, past the closed shops, past the silent houses, until she reached a place no one visited at that hour. The mortuary. The building stood cold and quiet. The air around it felt heavy. Even the wind avoided that place. Mama K knocked softly. The door creaked open. A man stood there. The night attendant. They did not speak much. He simply stepped aside. And she entered. Inside, the smell was different. Not like food. Not like life. Something still. Something final. Mama K walked confidently. Like she had done this many times before. Because she had. At the back of the room sat several containers, covered, sealed, but she knew exactly which one she wanted. The wash water, the water used to clean the dead bodies. She opened one container slowly. A faint, sickening smell rose into the air, but Mama K did not flinch. She smiled. Carefully, she filled a small keg, closed it tightly, and turned to leave. To her, this was not something evil. This was business. This was power, back at her buka. Before the sun rose, before the first customer arrived, Mama K lit her fire, placed her large pots on the stove, and began to cook. She poured the water into the pot, slowly, carefully, as if it were something precious. Then, she added her meat, her spices, her oil. The pot bubbled. Steam rose, and with it, something unseen, something unnatural, something that no ordinary eye could detect. That was her secret. That was why her food held people. Why they could not stay away. Why they kept coming back. Again, and again, and again, until one day, something went wrong. A young girl named Amina worked at the buka. She was quiet, hardworking, just trying to survive. She washed plates, cleaned tables, helped in the kitchen. She had no idea about Mamaki's secret. Until that afternoon. The market was busy. Customers filled every corner. The pots were boiling. The fire was hot. Amina carried a tray of utensils. As she moved past the big pot of soup, her foot slipped. A small mirror she was holding fell from the tray, straight into the pot. Splash. Amina gasped. She rushed forward, trying to retrieve it. But as she leaned over the pot, she froze. Her body went still. Because what she saw was not normal. The surface of the soup was not reflecting steam. It was not reflecting the ceiling. It was not reflecting her face. Instead, she saw faces. Dozens of faces. Faint, distorted, staring up at her. Their mouths open, screaming. But no sound came out. Amina stumbled backward, her heart pounding wildly, her hands shaking. No, no, she whispered. She looked again. The faces were still there. Watching, begging, trapped. Amina dropped everything and ran. She ran out of the buka, through the market, past confused customers, past shouting traders, until she reached the elders of the village. Gasping for breath, she told them everything. At first, they did not believe her. How can food show faces? They asked. Are you trying to cause trouble? But Amina insisted. Crying, shaking, begging them to come and see. That night, the elders made a decision. They would investigate. Quietly, at midnight, they moved toward the buka. The market was silent, dark, empty. But from Mamake's kitchen, a faint glow could be seen. They approached carefully, peeking through the window, and what they saw made their blood run cold. Mamake stood alone in the kitchen. The fire burned low. The pot bubbled slowly. But she was not cooking. She was chanting. Softly, strangely, her voice carried an unnatural rhythm. In her hand was a wooden ladle. She dipped it into the pot, and as she stirred, she began calling names. Names of her customers. One by one. Chinedu, Bola, Ibrahim. As each name left her lips, the elders felt a chill. Because they understood. She was not just feeding people. She was binding them, tying their spirits to her food, making them return again and again. Forever. The elders burst into the kitchen. Stop, they shouted. Mama K turned. Her eyes widened. For the first time, fear appeared on her face. They dragged her outside. The entire village gathered. No one spoke. No one defended her. Because, deep down, they had all felt something was wrong. The elders made their judgment. No police. No court. Only justice. They brought out 3 large bowls, filled with her special soup. Eat, one elder said. Mama K shook her head. No, please. Eat. Her voice trembled. I cannot. But they forced her. She picked up the first bowl, her hands shaking. She took a spoon and ate, slowly, reluctantly. Then the second bowl. Then the third. As she ate, something began to change. Her body swelled. Her stomach expanded unnaturally. Her skin lost its color, turning gray, cold, like the very water she had used. The crowd stepped back in fear. Mama K screamed. Her voice echoed through the night. Then, suddenly, silence. She was gone. Vanished. As if she had never existed. The next morning, the buka was empty, cold, abandoned. No fire would light there again, no matter who tried. The place remained lifeless, and the people never forgot. The moral of this story is that not every sweet taste comes from a clean kitchen, and not everything that satisfies your hunger feeds your soul. Be careful where you eat, because some meals cost more than money. They cost something far more valuable. If you have enjoyed this story, please subscribe and click the notification bell so you don't miss the next story.